Honorable members, I'm going to rearrange because of a demand that has been considered and approved, I'll rearrange the business and we'll call upon the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations to move order number 14.
Order number 14, motion. Report on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, BATUK, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 25th November 2025. Honorable Speaker, the report arises from an inquiry conducted by the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations into the alleged unethical, illegal and harmful conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya. The committee's inquiry was prompted by rising public concern and allegations of misconduct brought to its attention during its consideration of the Defense Cooperation Agreement between the Republic of Kenya and the United Kingdom. These concerns were further supported by historical accounts contained in Volume 2A of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission TJRC report. The main objective of the inquiry was to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the alleged malpractices within BATUK since its inception under the following terms of reference. A, to investigate the alleged ethical breaches related to ethical misconduct, including corruption, fraud, discrimination, abuse of power, and other unethical behaviors. B, to investigate allegations of human rights violations, including mistreatment, torture, unlawful detention, killings, or any other violations of internationally recognized human rights standards. And C, to assess BATUK's operational integrity, especially recognized safety protocols, compliance with legal requirements, and adherence to established military standards. Honorable Speaker, the committee conducted public hearings from May 28th to 30th, 2024 in Laikipia County, Laikipia East and Laikipia North, and Samburu County. Subsequently, the committee held multiple stakeholder engagements from May 2024 through October 2025. During these sittings, the committee received oral and written submissions from affected civilians, victims, community leaders, civil society organizations, and relevant public agencies. The inquiry was consistently undermined by the refusal of BATUK officials to cooperate with the committee, despite repeated summons issued under Article 125 of the Constitution. BATUK officials declined to appear before the committee and instead routed all communication through the Ministry of Defense and Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. When, after months of evasion, a written submission was finally sent, the same was unsigned, a gesture far below the standards of intergovernmental accountability and one that reflects a troubling disregard for the authority of this House. Such conduct sets a dangerous precedent for foreign forces operating within our borders. Parliament cannot and must not be treated as a ceremonial body. Despite these challenges, the committee conducted extensive stakeholder engagements with affected communities, government agencies, civil society organizations, and independent experts. The committee also reviewed the legal framework governing Kenya-United Kingdom Defense Cooperation Agreement, DCA, and evaluated BATUK's compliance with Kenyan law, international and bilateral obligations. Honorable Speaker, the inquiry revealed consistent patterns of gross negligence in the handling of unexploded ordnance, leading to multiple civilian injuries and fatalities. BATUK's clearance protocols were found to be dangerously lax for that matter, often having hazardous remnants in public spaces. Kenyan workers hired to assist with debris clearances were not provided with protective equipment or training, exposing them to lethal risks. The inquiry also revealed a trend of sexual misconduct by BATUK official personnel, marked by rape, assault, and abandonment of children fathered by soldiers. Survivors of sexual violence reported cases being dropped or mishandled by local authorities. with the many victims denied access to justice. These cases were compounded by the absence of any mechanism within either the UK or Kenyan justice system to hold BATUK soldiers accountable for child support or other consequences of such misconduct. With no independent reporting or accountability mechanism in place, BATUK's immunity from Kenyan law has fostered impunity for sexual and gender-based violence. The inquiry further revealed serious environmental degradation, including the Loldeaga fire incident, illegal dumping of military waste and toxic materials. The committee noted credible community concerns that chemical contaminations, including white phosphorus, may have polluted local soils and water sources. These ecological harms have disrupted wildlife corridors and endangered local biodiversity, with the Kenya Wildlife Service observing increased animal displacement and injury during BATUK's training sessions. Despite the scale of the disaster, BATUK has not provided any substantial remediation or compensation for this. The inquiry also highlighted opaque and inequitable compensation practice by BATUK. The committee noted cases in which ex gratia payments were offered without transparency or fair assessment of liability. In one case, BATUK claimed only 50% responsibility for an injury suffered by Losaka Lesuyan, despite compelling evidence to the contrary. For instance, the African Center for Corrective and Preventive Action noted that Kenyan courts have awarded damages in similar cases, such as Kenya shilling 7 million judgment for Mr. Longoria Mutunge, who was injured by a buried explosive, but only a fraction of such payments have been made. Honorable Speaker, considering the foregoing, the committee made a number of recommendations. 1, amendments to the Kenya Defence Force Act to incorporate a visiting force code of conduct. B, a provision on zero tolerance for SGBV with survivor support and child support enforcement. Environmental obligations, social responsibility, and E, civilian oversight mechanisms. 2, negotiations with the UK government to implement mechanisms to hold BATUK soldiers accountable for child support to children born out of consensual relations. 3, continued collaboration between the Office of the Attorney General and the UK Central Authority in the extradition proceedings of Mr. Robert James Purkis, the suspect in Mrs. Agnes Wanjuru murder case, pursuant to the Mutual Legal Assistance Act Cap 75A and the Extradition Act Cap 41 of the UK Public General Acts. 4, initiation of an inquest into the murder of Mr. Robert Swara Surrey. 5, investigation of the alleged cases of murder of Kenyan citizens by BATUK soldiers reported by the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights. 6, restorative justice measures, including compensation and psychosocial support for historical victims of sexual offenses perpetrated by BATUK members. Investigations of the alleged case of sexual offenses by BATUK soldiers, including historical case documented in the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report dated 3rd May 2013. 8, establishment of a survivor liaison unit in Isiolo, Laikipia and Samburu counties in line with the Legal Aid Act Cap 16A to offer legal aid to victims of offenses and other civil claims linked to BATUK personnel. Measures to assist victims in the settlement of civil claims, including cases of injuries sustained and loss suffered as a result of BATUK operations or activities reported by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. 10, establishment of a military-linked crimes task force to oversee evidence preservation, case tracking, and expedited investigations and prosecution of offenses committed by foreign military personnel. 11, development of a land use register of all parcels utilized by BATUK indicating tenure, legal basis, duration, and community compensation arrangements, and an audit of historical and current BATUK land use agreements. 12, BATUK to undertake an environmental impact assessment on its training grounds, and thereafter NEMA to conduct an environmental audit in line with Environmental Management and Coordination Act Cap 387. 13, development of a wildlife displacement and damage report for areas affected by BATUK training with the policy recommendations for mitigation and restitution. Authorization of a written range safety and ordnance clearance standard operating procedure requiring 100% accounting of expended munitions, UX source clearances within 2 weeks after each exercise, publication of clearance completion reports with the local authorities, and adoption of multi-agency emergency response plans supporting nearby health facilities and first responders. Honorable Speaker, we also made a recommendation on the issue of the DCA, that is the Defense Cooperation Agreement, that right now the status of that agreement certainly is in limbo, and that is what has guided the presence of the BATUK and membership here. BATUK presence here in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I just want to elaborate a few on the issue of the DCA, the Defense Cooperation Agreement between Kenya and the UK. In 2015, the UK and Kenya signed a Defense Cooperation Agreement, DCA, to strengthen defense ties and address common security challenges. This agreement was entered into force on 11th October 2016, and pursuant to Article 26(2) of the agreement, remained in effect for a period of 5 years. On 27 July 2021, Kenya and UK signed another DCA, which replaced a previous DCA signed in 2015 and expired on 6 October 2021. Pursuant to the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, the agreement was submitted to the National Assembly on 6 September 2021 for ratification. However, the agreement was not concluded by the end of the term of the 12th Parliament. The agreement was submitted on 22nd November 2022, and after consideration, the Development Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations recommended approval of the agreement with the two main reservations. A, Article 6(5) of the agreement should be amended by inserting a new paragraph immediately after paragraph H to include murder as one of the offenses which are under the jurisdiction of the host nation. B, and Article 23 of the agreement to include corporate social responsibility. This report was tabled in the House on 21st March 2023 and was thereafter debated and adopted by the House on 13th April 2023, thereby approving the ratification of the DCA to unresolved issues that arise between the UK and Kenya after the National Assembly approved ratification with aforementioned reservations. Therefore, the 2015 DCA expired in 2021, while the 2021 DCA is yet to be ratified. This therefore raises a legal issue as to the legal framework under which BATUK is training and operating here in Kenya. An analysis of the 2015 DCA reveals that Article 26(5) provided for a savings provision for relating to jurisdiction, civil claims, and liabilities, the protection of information, and the financial arrangement between the parties for as long as necessary. However, the agreement is ambiguous as to whether these savings provisions provide a lifeline for the entire expired provisions. On matters now of DCA, it's therefore crucial that the legal status of the DCA between the UK and Kenya is swiftly resolved. Honorable Speaker, on the issues that, and I've seen it somehow on social media, we have something to do with BATUK's non-cooperation with the Development Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. Throughout the inquiry, Honorable Speaker, the committee faced considerable obstacles in securing cooperation from BATUK. Despite multiple correspondences, BATUK reported a pattern of unresponsiveness and evasion, frustrating the committee's constitutional mandate to establish the facts surrounding serious allegations made by citizens. BATUK consistently invoked immunity, citing provisions of the DCA, and evading direct engagement with the committee. Instead, BATUK channeled its communication to the committee through the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs and the Ministry of Defense, thereby undermining the inquiry. After months of non-responsiveness, BATUK ultimately responded via an undated written memorandum transmitted through the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. The response comprised unsigned submissions presented without an official letterhead, lacking any authentication or attribution to BATUK or any competent authority legally mandated to speak on its behalf. This response fell short of the standards of official government-to-government or institutional communication and demonstrates total disregard for the authority of this House. The manner in which BATUK engaged the committee reflects not only institutional content, but also a broader disregard for the sovereignty of the people of Kenya, whose will is expressed through Parliament. The dismissive attitude of BATUK sets a dangerous precedent that undermines Kenya's legislative authority, public accountability, and the rights of affected communities. Honorable Speaker, and the committee actually documented 94 pages of report with annexures that have been tabled in this House. While we recognize the fact that BATUK, in one way or the other, contributes both to the economy and the training of our soldiers and their soldiers as well, but the misconduct and the misbehavior also outweigh some of the advantages that they have brought to this country. Notwithstanding, and I know that now we have a DCA that is in limbo. So the legal status of that DCA also needs to be looked into so that we know where both countries stand at this point in time. It's important that the executive also resolves that matter of the DCA so that we are not having a situation whereby a foreign force is here in the country and without any legal backing. Honorable Speaker, and with those a few remarks, I beg to move and urge the House to adopt this report. I now call upon Honorable Martha Wangare to second this motion. I thank you.
Thank you.
Second, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to second this motion ably moved by the Vice Chair of our committee. And Mr. Speaker, right from the start, I would like to say that this report is not an easy matter, Mr. Speaker. We have gone to the ground for the last 6 months. We have gone and conducted hearings. 94 pages have actually been presented to this House, Mr. Speaker. And let me also make it clear that it is not anti-cooperation. This report is pro-accountability, Mr. Speaker. We are not saying that the cooperation should be ended, but we are saying it must be accountable to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the issues that have been raised in this report are weighty, and I feel like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I will say this here because I've seen the PS comment on Twitter about this report, and actually BATUK has also, and the British Commission has also put something on Twitter, Mr. Speaker. It is very unfortunate and contemptuous to this House to actually comment on a report when we have not even moved it on the floor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that has demonstrated what you have seen, the opaqueness in which these matters have been dealt with, tiptoeing around it. And Mr. Speaker, we took a lot of time to listen to stakeholders, state and non-state actors, Mr. Speaker. We listened to everyone who was invited in that public notice, Mr. Speaker. We listened to victims, survivors of GBV, families of fallen victims, Mr. Speaker, including Agnes Wanjiru's. Mr. Speaker, we listened to ex-Mau Mau veterans, we listened to ODPP, we listened to the DCI, we listened to the National Police Service, we listened to FIDA, we listened to the Human Commission on Human Rights, National Commission on Human Rights, and many others, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues that are raised here are weighty, and we have seen a lot of bias in terms of how they have been addressed. One, Mr. Speaker, BATUK has been clearly avoiding engaging with the committee. And Mr. Speaker, Article 1, read together with Article 125 of the Constitution, gives this House the powers to summon anyone of importance, Mr. Speaker. So to see them respond in the media that they were not given that chance is not only true, it is a misrepresentation of facts, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of these issues are touching on lives of Kenyans. I will pick just the death of Agnes Wanjiru, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the DCA, or what we call the Defense Cooperation Act, exempts even issues of murder from being dealt in this country, Mr. Speaker. Because how can you be accused of killing a 21-year-old woman and you're shipped out to the UK with no responsibility? It's only recently you have been told it will be done, Mr. Speaker. But even today, that suspect, one Mr. Robert James Pakis, has still not been prosecuted, Mr. Speaker. We have explored how the BATUK deals with other jurisdictions, Mr. Speaker. One case is how one Canadian was killed in Canada by a British soldier. It has also happened in Japan. They were prosecuted in those countries, Mr. Speaker. If you kill someone in Kenya, you are under the law of this country, Mr. Speaker. You cannot use the issue of immunity to escape justice and to escape a criminal responsibility. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we have recommended, first of all, the DCA must be amended, Mr. Speaker. The issues that have been exempted, Article one paragraph that we said in the reservations as we considered in the committee, Mr. Speaker, we said that the agreement must include murder as one of the offenses which are under the jurisdiction of the host nation. Mr. Speaker, that is not optional. And the fact that we continue to operate like like this House spoke in vanity and in futility, Mr. Speaker, it is actually stepping on the sovereignty of our country and of our people, Mr. Speaker. I know there have been arguments, and we listened even on the ground, and some leaders were able to join us in Laikipia and Samburu, that actually say that they are doing so much in the community. We do not disagree, Mr. Speaker. But this tokenism cannot be able to cover responsibility, transparency, and accountability of the actions of the BATUK soldiers. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the children born out of these relations they have with the Samburu, Maasai women, and the local women, Mr. Speaker, whether consensual or otherwise, it is not optional to take care of those children, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, any time the issue of DNA was raised, they actually rejected and resisted any DNA testing, Mr. Speaker, because then it would make us now lift the veil on rape accusations, and even if it is consensual, Mr. Speaker, the rights of a child under the Constitution cannot be ignored, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these soldiers in their country do not run away from their parental responsibility, but because there is no clear channels here, they get away with so much. And Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated, if a committee of this House, which has the mandate of the people, has struggled to get communication from the BATUK, then tell me how a hapless woman out there will be able to lodge a complaint, or the family of Agnes Wanjiru will be able to get a clear channel of communication from the BATUK. So, Mr. Speaker, this is only just a few of the issues that have been brought to fore. Mr. Speaker, the death of Tilam Leresh, still not investigated, Mr. Speaker. There was a formal inquest on this death, number 2 of 2014, and a soldier, Sergeant Madison, was actually directed to be charged for the death of this herder, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of environmental degradation, even NEMA getting a chance to engage with BATUK is a problem. NEMA is an institution that represents this country, Mr. Speaker. They are not able to get into it. And Mr. Speaker, this inquiry did not spring from nowhere. It sprang out from the TJRC report that actually enumerated sexual offenses that have been committed, enumerated the environmental degradation, and more importantly, when we were discussing the DCA, Mr. Speaker, the county government of Laikipia made a submission, and they spoke to the same issues, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we felt we will not just sweep it under the carpet. We will go to the ground and be able to listen, Mr. Speaker, because even the ordinance disposal, Mr. Speaker, it is not being guided by the law. There are water bodies near the area where the BATUK operate, Mr. Speaker, and they have the people there, the community there, Mr. Speaker, have actually complained of many increased respiratory diseases. Women there have complained of miscarriages, Mr. Speaker, because of the water they are drinking, the disposal, waste disposal in the rivers, Mr. Speaker, and that is an issue that must be considered, and we must be able to get to the end of it. Mr. Speaker, these ethical breaches, these human rights violations, this environmental degradation, these labor concerns, because, Mr. Speaker, we have workers there, even if they say they have employed locals, which is not a favor, Mr. Speaker, who have been acting there as casuals for 17 years. And if you raise questions, you are fired, Mr. Speaker. So these are some of the issues that we have been able to unearth using this inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, therefore, the submissions and the recommendations that we have been able to make including the changes in the law, Mr. Speaker. It's something that this House must consider, and we are saying again, it is pro-accountability, not anti-cooperation. Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that I would speak to is the issue of the DCI, because we said the DCI should investigate the alleged case of sexual offenses by BATUK soldiers, including historical documented cases, because they are there, Mr. Speaker. If you read the TJRC report, you'll be able to see over 2,000 documented, and those are the ones that have been reported. Mr. Speaker, we have the issue of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and when I see the PS make careless comments, Mr. Speaker, I wish they could actually focus on what we would need to do for this country, Mr. Speaker. The MFA should initiate negotiation with the UK government, and within 3 months after the adoption of this report by the House, do restorative justice measures, including compensation. And Mr. Speaker, we have had courts pronounce themselves in terms of people who have suffered injury, Mr. Speaker. They award 7 million, BATUK pays 100,000. But who are they answerable to? They have actually acted like they are above the law. And Mr. Speaker, it is time this House puts its foot down, because we have sovereign power donated to us by the people to actually protect our people. And that is where we should focus, Mr. Speaker, as we review this operation, Mr. Speaker. Because my time is up, Mr. Speaker, allow me to end it there, and I second.
Are you on a point of order? It has to be proposed first before. Honorable Hassan, this is your 4th term in Parliament. Honorable members, we now propose the question. The mic is there, unless it is not working. Is it working? Okay. Honorable members, we now propose a question. That this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, BATUK, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 25th of November, the year 2025. Madam Mili Odhiambo, and for the Honorable Kena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of that committee. And as a member, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I've actually run out of class to come and speak to this issue. The first time I heard of Archer's post was in 1997, when my office then, or my employer then, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, undertook a fact-finding mission on the issues of BATUK. Mr. Speaker, what happened then is that the same allegations that are being raised now were being raised in 1997. And as a matter of fact, there was a British lawyer who took up this matter on behalf of the women who were complaining then, and went to the UK, but unfortunately they lost the case because of course, challenges to do with the distance, evidence, and all that. But Mr. Speaker, what I can say for a fact is this. Number one, that if you go there right now, where BATUK is, there are many colored children, and they did not appear there by osmosis. When you have colored children, it means a black person and a white person had a child. And they are not, it's not occasional. There are very many, and they are now adults. And Mr. Speaker, they were either born of rape or consensual sex. If they were born of rape, the people who raped their mothers should be held accountable. If it was consensual sex, then the fathers must take responsibility according to Article 53 of the Constitution of Kenya that recognizes even children born out of wedlock. Even in the UK itself, you actually have fathers taking care of their own children. Mr. Speaker, Kenyans have accused this parliament of abdicating its oversight role. And I'd want to challenge Kenyans to listen that this is one case where we are actually following and dealing with the oversight role properly. Mr. Speaker, if you listen to what the PS for Foreign Affairs has spoken about today, it is more sympathetic to the BATUK. As Parliament, we will not be sympathetic to BATUK. we will look at the human rights of our own people. And Mr. Speaker, that does not mean that we do not like the British. The British themselves are protective of their own citizens. And it is embarrassing for us as Kenyans that we would allow people on a friendly basis to come to our soil and then violate the human rights of our women, of our children, of our environment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, I first heard of this is 1997. This now, we are in the year 2024. I don't know how many years those are. And Mr. Speaker, it is for this House to deal with those issues conclusively, so that we don't have not only the British, but any other foreign agency that comes into this country must respect the laws of the country. You can see what America has actually said very recently in regard to Somalis in the US, which is a very unfortunate comment. And I saw the representative there responding fairly well, because America has been known for their democratic ideals. So actually, when you actually single out a community for discrimination, it is wrong. But you can see that what they are trying to do is to protect their citizens at home. But in the same vein, Kenya must protect its own citizens at home. We can't be saying that because we are being given XYZ, that then we put a blind eye to what is going on in our own country. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy and proud that I sponsored the Treaty Making and Ratification Act for reasons such as this, so that when there are treaties that are being done or made in this country or being ratified, Parliament must have a say. So I would want to urge that let them bring that treaty, that agreement, and let us make sure that issues of human rights protection, issues of protection of our environment, issues of injury from the trainings that are going on are very well taken care of, and that Kenyans are not taken advantage of. Mr. Speaker, I can see that my time is up, but I want to say that I'm fully in support. This committee did undertake over 1 year of research work, of consultative work, and I want to confirm that we didn't receive anything from the BATUK, even though now I am seeing in the media that they are saying that the committee didn't give them a chance. The committee gave them a chance. They did not talk. So let them be honest and let them protect Kenya. They are our friends, but they are our friends only to the extent that they protect our rights. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Actually, for the benefit of you and the rest, this matter of the unexploded ordinances was there at the parliament before you. You're talking about the 8th parliament, the 7th parliament, the issue was still there. And of course, there was the one in which a Kenyan lady was killed by a Marine way back around those times. Anyway, the Honorable Kenan, have you considered the possibility of taking the DNA of those crossbreed children and giving it to a lawyer in the UK? Because all British citizens do have their DNA bank. And that responsibility is there. Yes.
Respond to that. Yes. Mr. Speaker, when the matter that came up in FIDA in 1997 was taken, there was limited access to DNA. Now but indeed, it's something that we need to consider right now, because they can't get away making young. One of the cases we dealt with was a 14-year-old girl. There is no consent for sex with a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, but if you take now the DNA from all these children, and then you take this, what do you call the DNA results you have back to the UK, and engage the UK DNA banks, you will be able to get everybody who was responsible. Proceed, Honorable Kenan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity, being the chairman emeritus of this committee, I had the opportunity to go through this 98-page report. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, let me say there were two issues. The issues highlighted by the committee on the violation of human rights, the issue of sexual abuse allegations, the issue of environmental destruction, the issue of employment and labor concerns, the issue of accountability deficit, the issue of communal and social impact projects, and Mr. Speaker, and all the other issues raised. But Mr. Speaker, let me say this, that is the gist of what the report has captured. But Mr. Speaker, allow me to say this, that Kenya, Mr. Speaker, Kenya, for the first time, Mr. Speaker, under the current constitution, has a written foreign policy with a number of pillars. And Mr. Speaker, for information, these pillars include the economic pillar, the peace pillar, the environmental pillar, the cultural pillar, the diaspora pillar, the ocean and blue economic pillar, the science, technology, and innovation pillar, the global governance and multilateralism pillar, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this being the case, you're also aware, you're a seasoned lawyer, Kenya is a signatory to the Vienna Diplomatic Convention of 1961, which was ratified by over 180 countries, 90 countries, Mr. Speaker, which includes Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I empathize with those Kenyans who have been affected. I sympathize with them, Mr. Speaker. But Kenya is a responsible member of the international community. Mr. Speaker, as a diplomatic practitioner, Mr. Speaker, there are methods of diplomatic communication. There has to be some form of negotiations. There has to be some communication, Mr. Speaker. There has to be some sort of building relationship, Mr. Speaker. And there has to be some sort of promoting interest. And that is the gist of having diplomatic engagement, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having gone through this report, the dictum, the observations, the recommendations, Mr. Speaker, are contradictory. The dictum, Mr. Speaker, if you go through, and I can see seasoned lawyers here, is injurious, undiplomatic, and Mr. Speaker, and unfriendly. Mr. Speaker, in diplomatic engagement, there are types of relations. There is bilateral relations, there is multilateral relations, Mr. Speaker, and there is triangular relations, Mr. Speaker. All these are anchored under 5 diplomatic formats, Mr. Speaker. There is formal diplomatic engagement. There is informal diplomatic engagement. There is, Mr. Speaker, citizen-based diplomatic engagement. There is conference-based diplomatic engagement. And there is also silent diplomatic engagement, which is called the ice diplomacy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, taking this into account, the issue I've gone through the report and they say they have issued a summon. They have invited. No, there are different methods of interacting with any diplomatic institution. We have a note verbal. A note verbal, Mr. Speaker, is an informal, unsigned communication. And that the law allows, unless Kenya is in breach of the Vienna Convention. We also have a diplomatic note written formally, and it's signed by whoever is engaged in that format. And we have something called aid memoir, Mr. Speaker. Aid memoir through an MOU, through this. Mr. Speaker, therefore, that note verbal, if there is a mistake, that mistake squarely lies with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is the interface between the outside community and Kenya. And therefore, what is our end game? Our end game is to correct injustices while promoting the relationship, the historical relationship that we have had with the British government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, therefore, this report on one side attempts to address the historical issues affecting the Kenyan people. On the other side, Mr. Speaker, this report attempts and injures the bilateral relationship between Kenya and the UK. Mr. Speaker, BATUK did not find themselves in Kenya by force. They can just be told one morning, go away. You know the understanding. They are here as a result of an MOU. The idea will have been, and I want to correct my friends, this is not the way this thing is done. We should have gone in camera to discuss this. That should have been the first thing. What we are doing, I entirely subscribe to the position taken by the PS Foreign Affairs. This is not the way to deal with diplomatic issues. Mr. Speaker, 2 more minutes.
Give him 2 minutes. Order.
You will learn this.
Order, honorable members.
I want to tell you this. I've done a lot of
Order. The chair commands the House. So when the chair says 1 more minute or 2 more minutes, you cannot question that. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, today, and I want my friends, don't do anything in anger. You are all diplomats, and all of you subscribe to parliamentary diplomacy. Our officers are in Haiti as part of our peace-building diplomacy. Our officers have served in the UN as some of the best peace security diplomats, Mr. Speaker. We cannot purport to destroy the historical relationship we have built with the British people, with the British government, with the outside community, because of a problem that we can correct. As much as I empathize, and there's need to correct that, this is not the way diplomatic engagements are done. I want to urge my colleagues here that this report be withdrawn, be subjected to the other forms of diplomatic engagement. And I can tell you this, write it somewhere. This is going to injure our diplomatic engagement, not only with the UK, but with the other community. Mr. Speaker, I hardly agree with Dr. Singo. If you say so what, Kenya is not a banana republic. We need foreign direct investment. We need diplomatic engagement. We need to protect that image of being a premier republic, Mr. Speaker. That image cannot be protected if we destroy everything that we have built because of our politics. I am aware this is very popular. I'm aware this is sentimental. I'm aware so many things touch on this. But equally, we have an image to protect. We have a country to protect. Mr. Speaker, I stand here as a person who has been the chair of this committee to totally oppose this report and have this report subjected to other methods of communication between...
Order. You're on a point of order on what? No, he has already said. You rise on a point of order when a contributor is on his feet or her feet. The Honorable Murugara, the chair of the Legal Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
Yes.
Justice and
Legal Affairs. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Order. Are you on a point of order? Are you on a point of order? No, he should have asked when he was on his feet. Proceed.
May I please, Mr. Speaker?
Proceed.
She's going to debate, actually. She's just differing with the other member.
You will have your moment.
And then she's going to debate and then she'll put across her points.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, this is a very emotive matter. The history of BATUK, the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, dates back to just after independence. In fact, those who have studied history know very well that in 1964...
Honorable Madam Emase and Honorable Kainan, you will consult in very low tones. What's your point of order? Oh, sorry.
That is...
Omanyo, sorry.
That is Honorable Catherine Omanyo. Mary Emase is seated over there. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the history dates back to just after independence. And how they came about to be granted leave in courts to practice here in Kenya was after the 1964 mutinies across East African countries. Those mutinies never succeeded anywhere apart from Zanzibar, where the mercenary, Okello, actually overthrew the Sultan. And that is how Tanzania eventually came into existence. Mr. Speaker, although this is a motive, we must be reminded what these soldiers have been doing in the country. And not just these soldiers. We can start with even the American Marines. And we go back to the case, my Lord, as Mr. Speaker, you've alluded to, in 1980, where some young naval officer from America, his name was Sandstrom, went to Mombasa, the ship docked, the naval ship, and he took a trip into town. And he came across a young Kikuyu girl called Jerry. And after everything and whatever happened, he eventually killed her using broken bottles. And he was taken to court that time in 1980. There wasn't much of any Africanization in 1980, for reasons best known to all of you. He hindrance from the then Attorney General, who said it's only whites who would have run courts. So he was taken before a white judge, by a white prosecutor, and he was represented by Judge Addis, a white advocate. At the end of it all, they advised him to plead guilty, and these were the remarks of the judge, that the young naval officer was sentenced to 6 months suspended sentence to be served out there and be of good conduct. because the life of a young naval officer from America, which was expansive before him, could not be destroyed by or in the hands of a mere prostitute. The prostitute was the African. The young naval officer who had his expanse of life was Sandstrom, a white naval officer. When you look at what this report says, in spite of everything Honorable Kainan is saying, the fact remains that the British Army has not been conducting itself very well. And we took time in the last parliament to amend the treaty so that we would get them to be accountable and answerable to our laws. But these malpractices still continue. And it is the high time Kenya put down its foot to tell them, please obey the law. You are not above the law. You must be subject to our jurisdictions, and that at all times you will act within the law. And where compensation is ordered, them or the British government should actually make prompt compensation to Kenyans in respect of the atrocities they commit on our people. This report, for whatever reasons we may have against this, is a good report, especially for the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. I therefore support, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Kombe, followed by the MP for Kamukunji.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi nikaweze kuchangia. Lakini kabla sijachangia, Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba tu nitoe shukrani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu na kwa wananchi wa Magarini walioweza kunichagua tena kurudi katika jumba hili. Pia vile vile nikaweze kuwashukuru wote wale walioweza kuungana nami katika maombi na wale walioweza kujitolea kwa hali na mali. Nisiweze kuwasahau Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa msaada wake na kwa kunishikilia kikamilifu kuona ya kwamba ninaweza kutembea katika hali hiyo ya kutafuta kura. Pia vile vile niweze kushukuru kiongozi wa chama changu cha ODM, Mheshimiwa Oburu Odinga, kwa vile ambavyo pia naye amejitolea na mpaka kufika Magarini kuja kuweza kunifanyia kampeni. Nisipokuwasahau magavana wangu wawili, gavana wa Mombasa Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir na gavana wangu wa Kilifi County Gideon Maitha Mungaro, kwa vile alivyojitolea na kuongoza harakati zote za kampeni mpaka mwisho, na wajumbe wote wa Kenya walioweza kuja kushiriki pamoja nami. Nikichangia hoja hii iliyo mbele yetu leo, kwa hakika wa Afrika sio wakati tena huu wa kuweza kunyemelea na kurambaramba kama ilivyo nikinukuu, kama naweza kunukuu aliyekuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya hayati Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, sio wakati huu wa kurambaramba matako ya wazungu tena. Ni wakati ambao ni lazima tusimame kama Wakenya kuona ya kwamba tunatetea watu wetu. Hatuwezi kamwe kuona ya kwamba
nidhamu. Bwana Kombe, inaonekana kama Mheshimiwa Oundo ako kwa nidhamu. Hoja nidhamu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I don't want to compete with the owners of the language. So allow me to raise my point of order in the language I was taught at Starehe Boys Center School and Bujuanga Primary School. Now, Honorable Speaker, I understand a bit of Kiswahili. In any case, in both KCP and KCSE, I pass Kiswahili very well. Now, he has used some words, in my view, Honorable Speaker, are unparliamentary. Kurambaramba matako. I do believe, Honorable Speaker, that is unparliamentary, and we should...
Order, Honorable Oundo. Order, Honorable members. Mheshimiwa Kombe amesema nikinukuu. Unajua maana yake nikinukuu matamshi ya hayati Jomo Kenyatta ambaye amesema. Endelea Bwana Kombe.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunisaidia kumfahamisha mjumbe mwenzangu ambaye namheshimu. Kwa hakika wakati umefika wa sisi wa Kenya kuwapa thamani wanayostahili wa Kenya wetu, na tutembee sawasawa na katiba vile inavyotuongoza. Lakini haya masuala ya kwamba tukaweze kuwaruhusu watu wengine watutendee mabaya na bado tuendelee kunyemelea na kubembelezana. Hakuna wakati wa kubembelezana. Kama kosa limetendeka, limetendeka. Kama mtu amenajisi, kama vile mtu Mkenya anavyoweza kunajisi na kunaswa na sheria, hata huyo mzungu akiwa amenajisi, tena kunajisi mtoto wa miaka 14, ni dhambi hata mbele za Mungu, na ni hakika inastahili ya kwamba akaweze kubanwa na sheria za nchi. Kwa hali yoyote ile, hakuna haja ya sisi wa Kenya kubembelezana, na ningependekeza iwapo itawezekana, huo mkataba ambao unawapatia hao nafasi ya kuja kuweza kufanya mazoezi yao hapa nchini ukaweze kurekebishwa na ukaweze kujumuisha masuala ya kwamba kama hawataweza kuweka nidhamu ya kisawasawa ya kijeshi, basi wakaweze kukabidhiwa na sheria za nchi hii. Maana la sivyo, basi itakuwa sisi saa zote ni watu wa kubembelezana na wazungu. Na wakati huo tulipata uhuru wa nini? Tulipata uhuru wa nini kama mpaka sasa tutakuwa ni watu wa kubembelezana na wazungu? Hakuna haja ya kuendelea katika hali hiyo. Ni lazima tusimame miguu miwili na tukaweze kutetea wananchi wetu sawa sawa na vile katiba yetu inavyowalinda wananchi wa Kenya. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa nafasi ya kuweza kuchangia. Kama ndugu amekwazika, awe pole. Asante.
Kabla Mheshimiwa Kamkunji hakusema lake kuhusu hili hoja, nataka niwatambue wanafunzi wa kutoka kata ya ubunge ya Bura ambao walihitimu leo katika chuo kikuu hapa kutoka kaunti ya Tana River. Na kwa hiyo nataka nimwambie Mheshimiwa wa Bura azungumze, awakaribishe na yeye pia.
Na azungumze Kiswahili sanifu. Asante Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii ili niweze kuwakaribisha rasmi wa mahafala ama graduates ambao wameweza kuhitimu katika chuo tofauti tofauti, na wanafunzi hawa hususan ni katika eneo bunge langu ya Bura constituency katika kaunti ya Tana River. Na nataka kuambia kwamba hapa ndio bunge la kitaifa, mahali ambaye sheria ya nchi huundwa, mahali ambaye maslahi ya wananchi hudhaminiwa, na ningependa kuambia karibuni, na pia nyinyi ni viongozi wa kesho. Ikifika wakati wenu pia muongoze Kenya vizuri. Asante sana ndugu Spika.
Basi wanafunzi mliohitimu pia nawapongeza. Now I'll call upon the MP for Kamkunji to weigh in on this motion. And followed by Rosa Buya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the report on the conduct of BATUK, the British military forces based in Kenya. And I also speak as a member of the committee. I want to first of all say some few words about some of the comments that have been made against the report and the situation. And I want to say that if there is really a Kenyan parliamentarian who is not going to be moved by the catalogue of murders, maiming, and rape of Kenyans, then really that person doesn't have any empathy for the Kenyan people. And it reminds me the words of the famous scholar Frantz Fanon on the question of colonialism. And he says that colonialism inflicts a deep psychological trauma on the colonized, leading to the colonization of the mind. And the same with our own philosopher, the late Ngugi wa Thiong'o, on the decolonization of the mind, is that in fact we're a very long way. We have this inferiority complex when it comes to outsiders, that we don't value the lives of our own citizens. Any senior MP or government officials who values abusive partnership above the lives of our own Kenyan citizens really needs to question himself. There is no convention or no agreement that can justify the abuse and the harm that is done to Kenyans by an outside force, even if that force was a friendly force. I participated in the inquiry, and this report contains really disturbing revelations about the conduct of the British soldiers here and the many horrific atrocities they have committed against innocent Kenyan civilians. The report indicates point by point the killings, the injuries that have been caused, the rape of girls and women, the degradation of the environment and the destruction of the ecosystem. We found that the partnership between the Kenya and the United Kingdom is an unequal one. Kenyans are in an abusive relationship in which the British troops have the monopoly of violence and can do whatever they want and they deem to Kenyan civilians. And in fact, we found that in the same tone, that they absolutely do not, the Kenyans that we spoke to, who are in fear, who feel terrorized, don't enjoy the protection and the security of the Kenyan government. And it is one of the casualties of this report, that in fact these atrocities have been committed right under their nose, and none of these cases have been brought to court and to book. When we arrived in Laikipia and Samburu for the inquiry, we were surprised to find out that in fact these soldiers could do whatever they want and get away with it. It was indeed very hard to believe, because some of the things we had could only happen in an area in conflict or at war. Yet here was a very peaceful part of Kenya, where a foreign force, and a friendly one at that, which was here under an agreement, a defense agreement, would more or less be out of control and conduct some brutal activities without any repercussions or consequences whatsoever. The British troops in Kenya, as this report indicates, have often behaved as a band of outlaws and bandits operating in what seems like a disorderly and unregulated territory with total impunity, rather than a disciplined armed force of a civilized nation. They operate out of control in all the incidents that we were able to investigate, and that's why we are calling for a review of our relationship, a review of the agreement, a tightening of the agreement, and also a review to insert the key elements that are missing from this agreement, of which they have not been able to include, as has been agreed by this Parliament when we reviewed and approved.
Give him a minute. Conclude.
In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, we urgently seek justice for the lives lost, the environmental degradation and damage. We also need to have real accountability. But more importantly, we need to know the status of the agreement between Kenya and the United Kingdom, because the current agreement has lapsed. Since the UK had declined to accept the Kenyan Parliament's amendment of the defense agreement, the question is, under which arrangement does BATUK operate on Kenyan territory today without an agreement approved by the Kenyan Parliament as required by our Constitution? That is the big question this House needs to address and take action on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Rosa Buyu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Are you sure, the Honorable Hassan, that Parliament had taken a positive, or rather what you want to say, a serious Kenyan position any time in the past on this matter? Proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, no relationship is cast in stone. Whatever relationship it is, no relationship is cast in stone,
Proceed.
Even if it's diplomatic relations. Mr. Speaker, our Constitution is very, very clear that regardless of your race, regardless of any discipline or your class, social class that you come from, the Constitution is very, very clear that we are all equal, and it is the responsibility of the government to protect all its citizens, regardless of who you are. Mr. Speaker, a former member spoke about Wanjiru having been a prostitute or somebody having been referred to as a prostitute. If that prostitute is Kenyan, that Kenyan must be protected. If that prostitute is Kenyan, that prostitute or Kenyan must be protected, fully protected under the laws of this country. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter what goes with that relationship. If it's abusive, it's abusive, and it can be reviewed and must be reviewed. Mr. Speaker, there is no way we are going to turn a blind eye to atrocities that have been mentioned by that committee just because of the aid or because of purported relationship that we have with some superpower. Mr. Speaker, this is where we must stand up as Kenyans if we really mean to protect Kenyans. Just recently, we had a politician come up and say that some sections of this country cannot benefit from the proceeds and development of this country because they are not shareholders. The president came up and Kenyans came out blazing to say that every Kenyan, regardless of which side you voted, is Kenyan and must partake of everything that is in Kenya. What is different now? Mr. Speaker, I support the committee, I support the report, and I thank the committee for giving us a very detailed report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
The Honorable MP for Mbere. The new MP for Mbere, followed by the MP for Nandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. I rise to support the report in its entirety, and this is because I have encountered cases of rape, maiming, discrimination, abuse of all sorts. And I must say, standing here, a Kenyan man, a student, a Kenyan young man student in the UK, has a consensual sex with a British girl. They break up, the girl reports it as rape, and even without investigation, the Kenyan young man is deported. Why do we have double standards? The member cited laws signed in 1961. Who signed on behalf of Kenya? So we cannot stand here and purport to defend something that involves rape, murder, maiming of Kenyan citizens. We are not second class, and there is no first class human being. These people must be brought to justice and in our soil. We need them to be put in Kenyan jails, and they are not above the law. So I support this report, and I insist it is long overdue. It is actually long overdue because we have been reading about these cases for very long now, and I thank the committee for taking its time, investigating, and let these soldiers not purport to have not been given time to respond. They got time to respond. They treat us as second-class citizens. It is post-independence. We are a sovereign state. I support the report.
The Honorable MP for Nandi. They don't treat you as second-class citizens because they're not citizens of this country, but as second-class human beings.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the committee for this very detailed report, a report that has actually painted a very deeply disturbing picture of the situation in BATUK or in the general areas of Nanyuki. Honorable Speaker, this is not a question of the dignity of us as the people of Kenya. It is also speaking a lot of things into the integrity of our sovereignty as a country, and Honorable Speaker, the credibility of the partnerships that we have been able to enter through the years. And Honorable Speaker, the issues that have been raised are not minor breaches, Honorable Speaker. They are abuses that have affected families and people. And Honorable Speaker, I would have loved to be very diplomatic in this House today and on this report. But Honorable Speaker, the tribe that I belong to, which is woman, Honorable Speaker, is the most affected tribe in this particular report. Honorable Speaker, tell me how a woman who has mothered a appointee child explains to them who their father is. Tell me, Honorable Speaker, how that woman who lives in Nanyuki and the areas of BATUK explains to the son or the daughter that comes back telling the parents that the children in the playground have asked him or her why they have that particular color, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is unacceptable, and as a country, Honorable Speaker, we must support and stand with the report that has been given to us by the committee. Honorable Speaker, we cannot continue to say that we must stand and keep quiet because of the benefits. Honorable Speaker, as a Kenyan and as Kenyans in this country, we must accept to die on our feet as opposed to dying on our knees. Part of the dying on our knees, Honorable Speaker, is accepting this abusive, utterly abusive relationship that we have in the name of a partnership. Honorable Speaker, for the record, this has changed from a partnership to some sort of, I don't know what to call it, or some occupying presence, because it looks like the British Army or whatever it is that has camped in BATUK is calling the shots. Honorable Speaker, as a Kenyan, when we were dealing with GBV, when we were dealing with girls dying and being killed, Honorable Speaker, we have all stood up and we did not care where the perpetrator comes from. Honorable Speaker, we cannot then apply double standards today because this is someone who comes from British. Honorable Speaker, the rules and the British must come to an end. And part of the remainders of things that the British did to us is exactly what BATUK is perpetrating. And Honorable Speaker, it must come to an end. I want to appreciate the committee because they have been bold enough, Honorable Speaker. They have been bold enough to speak on behalf of the people that live around the area. The people who are living in very hazardous environments because of the pollution and the things that the people there are releasing to the environment. On behalf of the women who cannot even go and report it to anyone else, Honorable Speaker, because they will be victimized instead of being given solutions. So I want to appreciate the committee for standing on behalf of Kenyans and for representing Kenyans and for going out there to listen to the people. These are the stories, Honorable Speaker, that must be told in broad daylight so that then, Honorable Speaker, we can make an informed decision. And Honorable Speaker, we have no problem with the diplomatic relationships. We will really like to keep them. But what is the essence of a good diplomatic relationship when we are dying? What happens to the relationship when we are no longer breathing? Honorable Speaker, we must put the people of Kenya first, then we can consider the diplomatic relationships so that it can foster the livelihoods of Kenyans, not the other way around. If the partnership is abusive, the people will die and therefore there will be no partnership. I support this report, Honorable Speaker.
I give the opportunity now to the most senior veteran military man in this house, none other than Colonel Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, thank you for indulging me.
Honorable members, the way you think that we should not be despised by British or the whites in the West, every member is an equal order, an equal member of this House. Nobody should complain that an opportunity is being given to another member of Parliament. That is the basic rule you get. Proceed, Honorable Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't know why members are complaining. I am almost like an authority on this particular matter.
Absolutely.
I trained in the UK, and I am very versed with BATUK training in Kenya. They are offered the best training facility in the world. Unfettered, total access, without any limitation by any Kenyan authority. And that particular fact should not be abused by anybody. Honorable Speaker, the historical relationship between Kenya and the UK is one thing, but troops behaving badly is another thing altogether. And we cannot say that this will affect our diplomatic relationship. Not at all. The forces that train in Kenya, whether Americans, British, or others, are visiting forces which deploy liaison officers so that any visiting forces do not do anything wrong and towards the municipal laws of this country. And, Speaker, what I read about this report by committee of the Kenya National Assembly, it is the issue of responsibility, accountability, transparency, rule of law, respect for the municipal laws of this country. What the committee is asking is telling BATUK, do exactly what you do in your own country, and all kinds of lethal ammunition. If they don't explode, the basic tenets in military training and doctrine is go and look for those unexploded ammunition and dispose them off. On the Kenyan rangelands that they are less populated, there are very few people, but that does not give anybody the opportunity not to dispose of those lethal ammunition that are likely to injure the civilians who are likely to stray on those rangelands with their livestock. Honorable Speaker, Defense Cooperation Agreement between Kenya and the UK must serve both in equal measure. That when you are going for equity, then you must come with clean hands. Yes, people can talk, but there are two important articles that even new members who are joining this House must learn. Article 95, that a matter of concern to the people, and Article 94, sub-article 5, nothing will have a force of law unless it is passed by this House. Honorable Speaker, my worry, and greatest one for that matter, the British have one of the best armies in the world that are very well trained, very well disciplined, very well commanded and managed, but people should not come to Kenya and do things which they don't do in their own country. For that reason, I think it doesn't affect any diplomatic relations between our two countries. But the commanders who bring their forces for training.
One more minute.
Thank you, Speaker. What I was saying is those commanders who will bring their forces for training in Kenya must take full responsibility, and that command responsibility will eliminate all these nuances that we are seeing, that there are soldiers who will kill civilians, who will carry out rape, or who will engage in sex with youngsters that they wouldn't be allowed to do in their own countries. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say no one should escape scrutiny, especially if that is breaking the law. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Russell, you trained in the US, the same way, or the UK, the same way British soldiers are training in our country. you did not have any immunity against criminal activities. Maybe you should educate the members on that. Did you have any immunity? Give him the...
Mr. Speaker, I trained both in the UK and in the US. I trained in Pakistan, in Germany. And wherever you arrive in that country for training, you are taken through an induction. These are do's and don'ts, so that you stay within a straitjacket of the municipal laws of the host country. So that is why you will never go against the law. Yep. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Fair enough. You never know, maybe. Honorable Oundo, followed by Beatrice Elachi, and then followed by the MP from Turkana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have keenly listened to the experts in this field, Honorable Raso, the military gentleman, the Honorable Bashir. I have also listened to a diplomat who has had diplomacy, probably a student diplomacy. But Honorable Speaker, let me get to the point. I associate myself with the recommendations largely of the committee. Honorable Speaker, there's a historical aspect why BATUK are here. And the military gentlemen who are here will tell you the presence of BATUK, the presence of American Marines, and the presence of other foreign military units in this country probably has been a good deterrent from any of our rogue neighbors, probably had harbored any intention or an idea of invading or coming to stabilize Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I want us to draw parallel.
Stabilize or stabilize?
To stabilize Kenya.
Okay.
I want also, Honorable Speaker, to draw parallel on the war in Ukraine versus Russia at the moment. It just started because Ukraine had no formidable military ally that could assist them in the event of any invasion. And that's why you find Russia is very uncomfortable with Ukraine joining NATO. So the presence of the BATUK, the presence of other military units in this country is an advantage to some extent. But also I want to agree with the report that where a criminal offense has been committed, military personnel who come to train here are not accredited diplomats. So they do not have diplomatic immunity. Whenever a crime has been committed, Honorable Speaker, I totally agree with the recommendation that the laws of the country, or unless there's any other agreement between Kenya and the UK, those who commit crimes within the soils of Kenya should be tried here in Kenya for purpose so that they face the law as required here in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this matter has elicited a lot of attention and interest in the UK. BBC has reported about it, Sky News has reported about it, literally all the mainstream news outlets in the UK have reported about it. And they seem to agree that there should not be no immunity for those who commit crimes. So that's a settled matter. Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the numerous recommendations. There are just too many. You see, again, when the recommendations are just too many, it becomes difficult to get the best out of it. I would request the committee to go and concretize and make sure one of the best recommendations, one of the most important recommendations, is to have the new cooperation agreement signed as soon as practically possible. Because at the moment, nothing binds, nothing holds them anywhere. Finally, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, on the issue of civil matter, yes. I'm a man, and the Honorable Speaker allowed me now to talk as a man. On the matter of civil matter...
Proceed. You have always talked as a man. I
yes.
See you talk as a woman.
On a matter of civil matter, of child support, it's not a criminal matter. It's a personal matter between two consenting adults. Where there's a case of rape or defilement, that falls in the realm of the law. But the mere... Just a second so that I drive this point. Just to conclude. The mere fact there's consensual agreement between a consenting adult and a consenting woman and a man, whatever comes was expected. So there must be an arrangement between the two of them to sort out their issues. You know, Honorable Speaker, even to go to courts, to the child support department in this country, is a lengthy and laborious process and doesn't guarantee success. So I would just want to ask the ladies who are here also to educate our ladies in that area that as you engage, you know, there are consequences. The man can die, can disappear. We must learn to carry the burden. We must learn to be careful. Normally, Honorable Speaker, the joke used to be said, Honorable Speaker, a joke used to be said that when they are building the thicker highway, there were many ladies who got children with the Chinese. And as typical, Chinese things don't last for long. The children used to die as soon as they were born because Chinese things don't last for long. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the report.
Order, honorable members. The Honorable Millie is on a point of order. You don't shout point of order from behind the chair. What's your point of order?
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I'm multitasking. Mr. Speaker, in the age of technology, I'm both in class and in parliament. But I couldn't fail but listen to Honorable Undo, implying that in a situation where a child is born, we blame the women because they were responsible. Mr. Speaker, you will blame both the man and the woman because there is nothing that is dormant. Both sides are active. But you can never blame a child.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You can never blame a child. So do not purport, do not imagine, do not even try. Where two adults are involved, the resultant effect is a child. Both the Convention on the Rights of the Child and our Constitution protects that child. So is it in order to go against the Constitution?
He is not in order, basically. The responsibility has always got to be there. Honorable members, the Honorable Murugara, I think for the benefit of the House, for those of you who are not around that time, and I'm glad Murugara was around that time, there was a mutiny in 1964. And the mutiny was done by the King's African Rifles, 11th Battalion. And that one was put down by the Johnnies. They were called the Johnnies, the British forces who were here. And I think from then on, completely established here. So there is although they did not, I didn't see them in action on the coup attempt in '82. But I have no doubt in my mind if the coup had begun to succeed, they would have gone into action. So, but anyway, but that's just for the benefit. Yes, Murugara.
Thank you very much. I wasn't there in 1964, 100%. I don't mean bought. However, exactly that is the reason.
Yes.
The 1964 mutiny in Lanet and the guild was actually put down by the Johnnies.
Yes.
And it's how they got themselves that agreement to remain here, to protect their interest, not anything to do with Kenya. It's purely to protect the British interest here, and they continue to do it unabated. 1982, we never saw them.
Fair enough.
And therefore...
Honorable Elachi, that 11th Kenya Rifles was disbanded. Was dissolved and disbanded, yes. Yes, Honorable Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support this report. The report comes when we...
I'm sure Adan Daud was around that time. I have no doubt in my mind. Proceed.
The report comes when, Mr. Speaker, we are also within the 16 days of activism. Therefore, it becomes a very sad report, even as we support. And it also brings back the memories of the late Agnes Wanjiru of 2012. Mr. Speaker, if you remember this case.
Yes.
Where this Kenyan girl was found in a septic tank in Nanyuki. And you remember the investigations resurfaced in 2021, where we thought now at that time the former soldier who is James Robert Pakis, would today have faced his trial. So may her soul rest in peace with many others who have gone through rape and many other inhuman human rights sufferings that they've gone through. Mr. Speaker, I think as Parliament, one of the things we know, and we will appreciate, that yes, this is a sensitive matter. It's a sensitive matter in terms of our justice for local citizens. It is a sensitive matter for our environmental protection. It is a sensitive matter, Mr. Speaker, on foreign military presence, which I know we have signed bilaterals and we have agreed on it. But then that does not take away the sovereignty of a country and the rules and regulations of a country and the constitution of a country, that indeed when you step into Kenya, you will not tell me the BATUK where they are in Nanyuki is now Britain. No. This is one thing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must take very, very seriously. That indeed when they are here and they are training, just like any other army will go to train across the world, they would respect and adhere to the rules and environmental rules of a country and all the laws, Mr. Speaker. And so therefore, it is important for us to accept that as Parliament, what we are trying to say, that we have realized there is a serious imbalance bilateral negotiation. And that in this report, while we are saying we need to see justice and accountability to those who are victims, we are saying there is need of fair balance, sovereignty, and cooperation through disciplined diplomacy. That's what we are asking. And we are saying if there's extradition protocol, then it is important for you to produce the accused when requested. That it is important to cooperate fully in investigations, and more importantly, to allow joint access to evidence. That's what we are saying as Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, the other thing we are saying, there must be mandatory disclosure. For example, names of the personnel of BATUK, those who come in. It's important for the country, so that even when we are going through all this, we understand how we engage. Mr. Speaker, there must be deployment and rotation logs if required in investigation. We can't run away from that. And provide legal assistance for survivors. We are saying come up with a fund for both Kenya and UK, co-funded. But then let us have an engagement that is very clear. And so, Mr. Speaker, even as this report goes, I think the most important thing we can say is let us have a conversation between our brothers in Britain who are within their parliament and us, and tell them this is our report. You've seen how His Excellency President Trump has done in the US. I mean, what is it wrong with us for Kenya? And so anyone fearing to talk about this in Kenya at this time, Mr. Speaker, will be doing a very bad injustice to our people. And so even as we table the report, we are saying the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must, with Parliament, see how we work around this matter. I beg to support.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Joseph Emade Namwar, the MP for Turkana Central.
Honorable Namwar, I know you, but you know you have all.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, I want from the onset to support the report, Honorable Speaker. When you visit Laikipia and Nanyuki, Speaker, what comes into your sight is children who are white. Maybe we can call them pointees, but, Honorable Speaker, burning charcoal and some riding motorbikes. You know what it means to have a white skin in such kind of an environment. And when these children are asked about their fathers, they even don't know. Honorable Speaker, I rise to say that United Nations is one thing that happened in the world. And when United Nations provides for governing principles and requests that when we are doing our business, we must obey all the human rights. Honorable Speaker, human rights are not negotiable. They are not. We cannot say it is a diplomacy issue. We cannot say we have to postpone. Honorable Speaker, my take from this report is if the committee, and I want to thank them for coming up with this report.
We want to finish this.
Honorable Speaker, if they can be able to look at the DCA or the status of forces arrangement,
Can you then ask for this?
either Kenya or UK, and be able to see if this can accommodate investigation or if this can be able to be prosecuted in any court of law in the world. Honorable Speaker, what is happening is damaging, very much damaging. When it talks about land, talks about the environment, talks about rape, lack of compensation of those who are victims. Honorable Speaker, when we come back here as Parliament, we have something like a bilateral function with the armed forces or the defense forces, Honorable Speaker. This House approves an emergency, approves war. The National Security Council can recommend, but it must come here, including the President. And therefore, when we are talking about all this that is happening, Honorable Speaker, we must say that there is a time when a country becomes greater than an individual. Whichever the status, whether you are white, whether you are black, Honorable Speaker, country becomes more greater than an individual, Honorable Speaker. And so when we are putting this across, Honorable Speaker, we want to say that individuals must take responsibility of what they do, not as a country, UK or Kenya. Honorable Speaker, just here in Ethiopia, I happened to talk to a friend who worked there, and it's a time when, I don't know, he messed up in Ethiopia and got a lady and impregnated a lady. The government of Ethiopia waited until this man was boarding a plane back to Kenya. And then he was brought a bill to pay, and the bill contained the upkeep of the child and even the damage he had done to the mother. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say...
What's your point of order, Honorable Mwenje?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 95.
Yeah.
Honorable Speaker, I believe we've contributed enough to this motion, and I think it's time that we invite the mover to reply after the Honorable Member completes his...
Honorable Speaker, we must bring each and every UK Army officer into record as an individual, not as a country. And there is no person who is superior when it comes to human rights. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
I now put the question that the mover be called upon to reply. As many as can say aye. As many as can say nay. The ayes have it. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to appreciate the many members who have actually debated robustly on this matter. And I just want to make just a clarification that this report in no way is undiplomatic, uncooperative on the part of Kenya and United Kingdom. Remember, we have a number of agreements with the UK government, and that is all being touched on this report. This is a report specifically touching on BATUK, which is just one facet of our engagement with the United Kingdom. So all we are saying is that when you look at this report, it tells BATUK, please be responsible, be accountable, and ensure that your activities and your operations are in line with the laws of the Republic of Kenya. And that's how it is. So if you look at the recommendations that we have made, it's something that they can use it to ensure that they improve on their operations and their activities while operating here in Kenya. And two, the DCA is still in limbo. So all we ask is that it should be fast-tracked so that we have a legal basis for these troops to operate in Kenya. Otherwise, our cooperation, our diplomatic status with the United Kingdom of Kenya is still intact, and nothing has been dented by this report. I beg to reply.
Honorable members. Yeah. Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the inquiry into the conduct of the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, BATUK, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 25th of November, the year 2025. Will as many have to opinion say aye? Aye. As many contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10. Inquiry into the proposed sale of shares in East African Portland Cement PLC.
Do we have the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives here? The chair. You're there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Proceed. You move that